Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome back to the Union Leipzig career mode. At the end of last episode, we just signed a new defensive midfielder, Bouchard, who should help out what's been the worst defense in the league so far. We're still in search of our first win, so let's get straight into the action. We have to turn things around this episode. Now, the big change going into this game is our formation. We started the season staying true to the manager template we got with 3 at the back, but we quickly switched that up as our defense has been terrible. Now, we tried a 4 at the back system, but we're trying something a little different with a holding defensive midfielder to fit our new signing in. So the thing to watch out for in this game is if we can actually keep a clean sheet, or at least enough to get some kind of result in this game. So far so good as we keep a hold of possession. Now, I think it's just gonna have to be a lot of patience in this career. We're starting with the lowest rated team in the league by a landslide, so the fact that we're even doing as good as we are, which isn't good, I'll give you, is still pretty impressive. I think we've looked good in possession and we're creating a lot of quality chances, but it's gonna take time to develop players to get to the level we need. And also just to figure out who are the best players in this team. We're starting with Bergman up top, but we've tried him and Fofana at striker before, and neither one has really seemed to hit their stride yet. And as we go into the second half, actually having been the better side for a change, it looks like maybe things are looking up for Leipzig. We're slowly but surely finding at least a little bit of rhythm. Again, it's going to take a lot of time to pull things off perfectly, but I think we're seeing signs of improvement. However, the defense is just catastrophic, and it always feels like we're one quick mistake away from conceding. But regardless, the game hangs in the balance, and as Bergman finds a Mecha Obi in the box, this is the chance! But again, it's a poor finish from the winger, who showed some signs this season, but definitely is far from the finished product. He's struggled with passing and finishing in the final third. So it's Obi off, and another young winger, Andre Rondic, coming on. I'm trying to figure out which of these youth players deserve a chance in the team, enough to really grow into a notable position. So far, we've again seen some signs, but nothing too convincing. But here we go, Rondic with a chance, blasted wide, and I think we're still in search of somebody who can really consistently finish in this team. And unfortunately, it is the finishing that's let us down. We've looked really sharp this game outside of just scoring, but that's a pretty big problem, and we might have bigger problems here as the defense again lets through a big chance with under 10 minutes remaining. Suddenly we're trailing in a game we looked really confident in, and it looks like Union Leipzig may have just blown another game. And at this point, I don't know what to do. I mean, that's a big mistake from Schumacher to lose his man, and we just don't have many other options. It's not like I can switch out the defenders for anyone else. Maybe another change in formation? Feels like we've already done a lot of trying different things, and it's still pretty early in the season. We're just scrambling for something that can work. And then it all really goes downhill as a huge, uncharacteristic mistake from the goalkeeper lets in a second. Well, you know, when our best players are making mistakes like that, morale is at an all-time low, and Union Leipzig lose yet another game. Well, on top of that, we get worse news as we're going to be missing our left back for the next 4 weeks. Now, not that he's been particularly great, but I feel like the options behind him are even worse. I'm going to take a gamble and try one of our younger right backs, Mensah, at left back. And I'm just going to throw a wild card in there. I'm putting Becker back into the lineup. I think it's clear Schumacher hasn't really been any better. And at this point, I don't know what else to try. We don't have that many players available, and on paper, he's our highest rated. So it's back to the games, and Becker is back in the lineup. We didn't give him back the captain's armband because I think he'll need to earn that, but hopefully we see some redemption for the center back that we had really high hopes for going into this season. But overall, it's a symptom of probably our system and the level of play. It's hard to be too harsh on any individual players, but one thing is for sure, our defense has been absolutely catastrophic as, again, we start a game that looks very chaotic, even at the beginning stages here. We can't seem to get the ball out of the box. Are we going to be able to clear things before this turns into too much danger? Ball played in, and it's a goal already. Nobody able to close down their man, and again, it's through Becker's side. I'm just at a loss for what else to try at this point. No one closing down their man, and it's just so easy to concede. Now, what kind of response are we going to see here from Union Leipzig? That's better from Becker, good tackle in the back, and now maybe a counterattack on as Soko charges forward, plenty of space to run into. He's got Bergman ahead of him. The striker is clean through on goal. Is this our chance? One-on-one with the keeper, and finally he finishes. It's been a long time coming for at least one of our strikers to start scoring, and Our faith in Bergman has paid off as he finally gets a goal. It's a good direct run from the team, and maybe that's not the kind of possession play we've been looking for, but at this point, any kind of goal we can get is going to be hugely helpful for this team. But that little boost has definitely gotten us back into this game as suddenly we're looking confident and moving the ball around well. Wolf with a chance here in front of goal, saved by the keeper. But all of a sudden, we're on the front foot and keeping a hold of possession really well. But now are we going to be able to convert that into a chance? Emeka Obi with the ball. And again, just patience from Leipzig, not forcing anything, moving the ball around. This is exactly the philosophy we've been looking for as Simon Wolf picks it up all the way out to Soko. Ball to the back post. It looks on. That's a it's going to be offsides. Well, it was a well-worked goal from the team, and our new signing Bouchard almost scores, but it wasn't to be. That looked to be pretty close. He was pretty far offsides. Regardless, good movement from the team though. But as the game drags on, all that momentum we built up starts to fade away as we fail to capitalize off it. The game's level, and again, our defense, it just looks so chaotic at times. We can't seem to close any kind of balls down, and as the opposition just passes rings around us, even the balls we win back just seem to unfortunately deflect right back to their feet. We concede a second, and honestly, the bad results look to continue. It's a disappointing performance yet again as we're unable to pull anything off in terms of a comeback here in the second half. Union Leipzig are still left scratching our heads in terms of what it's going to take to start to turn this team's form around. Well, if we're being honest, 2 points from our opening 7 games is territory for us to potentially be getting the sack as manager already. I think we have a little leeway still left, but we gotta find solutions fast. So I'm gonna try another left back. I think Mensah still needs some growth. But outside of that, I'm putting Schumacher back at center back. I think him and Becker seem to be about the same in terms of quality, but at least Schumacher's got more pace. Becker, it was very clear, has a hard time staying in position. I just don't think we've found a system that suits these players yet, and I don't know. I'm still kind of looking for some kind of combinations on the pitch we can build around or tactics, and for now, I'm just gonna kind of keep going with what we're doing until something starts to click. Now, one of the players that started to emerge a little bit as a consistent threat is Bergman up top. Obviously, he scored the goal last game, but the positions he's getting in look really good. He's a very direct player. As he gets a shot off there, that's a sign of what I'm talking about. Now, Fofana's whole thing as striker was supposed to be that he could play as a false 9, but Bergman's hold-up play has actually been okay. He's not a super silky dribbler or anything, but it's enough to create chances as Wolf comes close from distance. It's another player I'm hoping to see a little bit more out of. He's looked pretty sharp, but hasn't been consistently converting those. However, I've been really impressed with the team's resilience. In the face of some terrible results, we're still very much giving these games a go and showing a lot of enthusiasm. And despite it all, again, these possession tactics are not looking too bad. We do look comfortable with the ball. It's just the final pass. And how about that from Emeka Obi to set up Bergman, who gets deflected. But again, that's a good quality chance created. And you have to feel like at some point we at least have to just get a little lucky. The kind of real poor finishing we've had in front of goal eventually has to go our way. Here we go though, ball into the box. Bergman flicks it back for Wolf, making the late run. Oh, there we go. Our number 10 finally getting a well-deserved goal. The chances have very much been coming for Union Leipzig, and we get a well-deserved lead. That was beautiful from end to end. Everybody involved in the build-up play. And you know, huge credit to the headed flick there from Bergman and the run by Wolf to even get into that position in the first place. That's exactly the kind of goal we needed. And finally, we have a rare lead to defend. But when it comes to defending, that might be the weakest point in our team. So we know it's going to be a long 30 minutes here to end the game if we want to keep a clean sheet. But we're going to give it our very all here as Schultz fails to keep up with his man. And shot, it was just offsides. We remain firm. Straight off the kickoff, though, that was a good chance against us. Well, how long are we going to be able to hold on here? 10 minutes remaining and still yet to concede. The opposition are just trying balls into the box, and already know we look incredibly uncomfortable defending them. But we're still hanging on. 7 minutes remaining, and Union Leipzig looking for our first win of our entire competitive career as a team. But another big mistake. Oh, we're so lucky that one goes wide. And you know what? It's time to just be shameless. We have to do everything we can to protect this lead. And as Stein takes it into the corner, we're just gonna run the clock out. We really need these 3 points. And that is enough to get our first ever win. Incredible scenes from Union Leipzig. It wasn't the prettiest by any means, but this kind of season, any wins we pick up are going to be massively important. Our only goal right now is to avoid relegation, and it's looking to be a really tough ask. A huge contribution from Simon Wolf, who's clearly looked to have been our best player throughout this season so far, which isn't saying a lot just yet, but I think he's one of these players we can build around. Well, still more questions than answers for the team right now, but those massive 3 points were enough to lift us into 17th. Thankfully, there's a lot of other teams struggling down here this season, so I think it's going to be very interesting in the relegation fight. Now, in terms of the players who have been standing out for us, I don't know, there's a couple interesting players. Obi's gonna be out for a little bit here, but he's been sharp on and off. Wolf's looked okay. I think Bergman is probably a good option at striker. Soko on the left wing, and then honestly, Felix Kruger's looked good in midfield. I don't know, we're starting to discover a couple standout players in this team, and hopefully they can keep growing. A lot of these players are younger, and we'll have a lot of time to develop them as this series goes on. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll get back into the games next episode. Hope to see you all there. Thank you for watching.